Hey guys, this is Derek Duplessis, host of Purpose Rockstar. It's a podcast where we interview people who found purpose in their career in all kinds of fields. Today's interview is with Jesse Kornbluth, the guy in charge at headbutler.com. Jesse's a character, I'm telling you. When you listen to this interview, you know what I'm talking about. He's a guy that told me famously, Derek, I made $150,000 a year writing 5 articles for Vanity Fair, '93. And he actually told me about why he left that job. It's an unbelievable story that includes none other than Michael Jordan. Jesse's been at Vanity Fair, he was at AOL, and he's been rolling with the punches for a very long time. I know you'll enjoy this.
Welcome to the Purpose Rockstar Podcast, inspiring stories of people who found purpose in their careers 5 days a week. Unleash your inner rock star and tap into your highest purpose with your host, Derek Duplessis.
Welcome to the Purpose Rockstar Podcast. I'm your host, Derek Duplessis, Executive Director of the Duplessis Foundation. We're helping inner city entrepreneurs to pursue their purpose by training them to run a successful business. This show is an extension of our mission to help you and people all over the world find purpose in their work. Let me tell you a little bit about today's guest. Today we chronicle the life and times of Jesse Kornbluth, the head butler. Jesse's a writer, critic, and author. He's written for Vanity Fair, Reader's Digest, The New Yorker, and many other publications. At headbutler.com, he's a personal concierge for your head. Jesse's seen a lot and done a lot. We go through his career, including the ups and the downs. Enjoy.
Purpose Rockstars, let's do this.
Jesse Kornbluth, are you ready to rock?
Well, for about the last 2 months, I've been taking this Ayurvedic pill called Mental Clarity, and I have been just on rocket ships for about a month. Yeah, ready to rock? How do we slow me down?
Beautiful. Well, I want to thank you for being a guest on the Purpose Rockstar podcast. You're quite a character, and I think we're going to have a lot of fun today.
I'm having fun now. This is great.
Excellent.
My first Skype interview, my first Skype conversation, and they say old people can't learn things.
Well, you're going to prove a whole bunch of people wrong. So we're going to get into your life, what you're doing now, and we're going to go into the fantastical lightning round. But before we do any of those things, what I'd love to do is get one of your favorite quotes, one of your big success quotes.
I think life is very, very hard, and even people who look like they have it good are really suffering. And so I just say, play through, rise above it, don't quit. I'm a Russian Jew. They're hard to kill. My mother's 97. I call her Rasputin. You could shoot her, you could knife her, you could throw her in a river, and she would come up saying, there's always something else you can do. That's what I say.
Beautiful. And how was that played out in your life? Give us a nice little example.
That is my life, my man. My mother was in love with Ted Williams and FDR. I think she was a little less in love with my father, who was perhaps not that lovable. And so her dream was that my brother and I would go to Groton, which is the prep school that FDR went to. And so I was sent away to boarding school at 15, and my mother, had a kind of trajectory for us, boarding school, Harvard, success, and a lot of those things happened. So in many ways, I'm just the creature of my mother, and then I'm the person who unlearned all that.
Wow. Well, let's get into and let's transition into your life. Take us from sort of the early beginnings and tell us a little bit about yourself and how you became the head butler.
So here's the thing. My father was in retailing, which I call the Jewish army, okay? We moved around a lot. I mean, a lot. I think I went to 12 schools before I was 15. So what does that mean? It means every year, or sometimes twice a year, you have to go into a room of new people and seduce them, right? You need to make friends. And that forms your character at an early age. That's who you are. You're the guy who has that. I have that little Jesse bot that I can send out. And I can just, charm people. I can listen to them. I can give them what they need. It's not a terribly authentic person, but it is a person. And so that's who I was. And then at 8, I wasn't terribly athletic. I wasn't terribly musical. I couldn't play guitar and get chicks. But at age 8, I wrote a book review about a Little League player for the Winston-Salem newspaper. And I discovered girls liked guys who could write. And so this was my way. This was my way because I've always been driven by two things. One, by I'm really good at writing, so I want to gravitate toward it. And it's hard, so I like that. And two, women. So women liked writing. I liked women and writing. It was very simple.
Beautiful. And take us through, I guess, sort of the machinations. How did you get to the head butler?
Well, head butler is a default, right? At a certain age, the words freelance writer are not a compliment, okay? You're supposed to be affiliated. And so here's Jesse Kornbluth, who goes to Milton Academy, right? Where the Kennedys went. I go to Harvard. I do it in 3 years. I do my first book while I'm at Harvard. I have a career in journalism, which is the New York Times, New York Magazine, Vanity Fair. I quit Vanity Fair in a huff, have to reinvent myself, get to the internet early, become the editorial director of America Online during the glory years. Okay, and then 2002, that all ends. So now I have no journalism career, and I have to rethink what I'm doing on the internet. And for a while, I just write my novel. And then for a while, my wife says, the internet is your mistress. Why aren't you sleeping with her? And I said, because I'm sleeping with your best friend. No, I didn't say that. I said, you're absolutely right. But did I want to go into a situation where there were 150 people around me and business models and, guys with MBAs who, are kind of like a Taliban of boring? So, no, I thought, well, let's do something where I'm the only idiot in the room, where it's all on me. And I remembered in 1967, my roommate and I invented this thing called head butler. And this was when we were seniors in college. We would come to your apartment. We would roll the joints. We would play the music and make sure there was no fuzz on the needle. We would serve you dinner. We would serve you more joints. You would go away with your girlfriend or boyfriend and do whatever you were going to do. We'd clean up. We would be your head butlers. And I thought, well, this is a cool name because it's a butler for your head, and also no one owned it. That's the key thing, right? I wasn't going to have to pay some squatter for the privilege. So I became head butler. And what it is, it's a concierge that 4 days a week deals with what I think are the best things in books, movies, music, and the occasional product. Now, here's the point, and where this is what I do that's different from everyone else. 1, everything ever published, produced, released is available on the internet. So everybody else covers like what's hot now, right? Kanye West has a new album. Everybody writes about Kanye West. Do you really need one more opinion about that? I don't think so. But what if there was a novel that was the biggest thing in the world in 1927? I mean, as it was. And now it's suddenly come out again. And I tell you about it. And I sell hundreds of copies and turn you on to something that's actually good, as opposed to something other people say is good. And 6 months from now, you look at it and you say, why am I having this? This was terrible. I mean, I'm talking about things that are like road tested, things that I've loved for years and years and years. And that's what I do. I'm a pure advocate. I don't write reviews. I grab you by the throat and tell you why your life will not be enhanced if you don't have this thing.
There's more to that interview? Yeah, more. And you can find all of it at purposerockstar.com. Link is right there. Yeah, right there. Yeah, right there. So It's really, really awesome that you can go to purposerockstar.com. If you're one of those on-the-go Apple people, you can check it out on iTunes. There's the link. And for my non-Apple people, I'm going to make sure there's a link on Stitcher somewhere next to me. So you got iTunes, Stitcher, and purposerockstar.com. Tell your friends, tell your family. We're on Twitter and Facebook, and somehow we'll be on LinkedIn. I don't know. But at least we'll be on Twitter and Facebook. And one final favor. Pursue your purpose. It needs you.